Well, last week, source-fed movie club movie, we had Clueless from 1995. This week, we go back a couple years to 1985 for Clue, starring Martin Mull, Christopher Lloyd, and Tim Curry. It was co-written by John Landis, who did Blues Brothers, Coming to America, a whole bunch of other great movies. So you know it's going to be a comedy right going in. And I've seen this movie half a dozen times. It may be hard to critique a comedy I've seen before because I know most of the jokes already. But I'm going to give it my best shot for you good folks. So let's stop it here. I'll watch the movie. And like usual, you'll get a jump cut. Well, right off the bat, you don't get off to a good start. The first joke, actually the first three jokes, is a poop joke. As they all come into the house, they all smell dog poop, and Tim Curry had stepped in it when he was feeding the dogs in the opening scene. And they all smell it, and they check their shoes, because they think they're the ones who stepped in it. Hilarious. Well, on to our characters. So, you know who all the characters are, if you've ever played Clue or Cluedo. And in this version, they're all being blackmailed by Mr. Body, who's Mr. Black, I believe, in the British version. And the butler, played by Tim Curry, had them all meet up because his wife was being blackmailed and killed herself, and he wanted revenge. So he had them all meet up, hoping that they could call the police on Mr. Body. Here's all their crimes real quick. Miss Scarlet's a madam. Professor Plum was a psychiatrist and slept with one of his students. Miss White killed her husband by chopping his head and his off. Colonel Mustard slept with one of Miss Scarlet's hookers. Mrs. Peacock, her husband is a senator, I think, and accepted bribes on his behalf to help make decisions. And Mr. Green is gay. So Mr. Body is soon killed off, and we meet the other characters, the maid Yvette, and the cook, who doesn't get a name. The cook's killed off pretty quickly, and they go search around the house trying to figure out if there's anybody else hiding there committing these murders. So a motorist whose car breaks down shows up, and they lock him in the lounge. And he's killed, and his body is found when they go through a secret passage. And then, while they're trying to deal with that, a cop who saw the car broke down at the end of the road comes to check the house. So the cop comes in, and they lock him in the library while they search the rest of the house. And, of course, he gets killed, too, with a lead pipe. And the maid gets killed with a rope. And we figure out that the maid knew somebody in the house also. Actually, two of the people in the house. And then we have this terrific death.
I am your singing telegram.
Well, after they find all the bodies of the cop, Yvette, and the singing telegram, Tim Curry decides he's figured out what happened and explains the entire movie to us of how we got there. And the killer is... we don't know. The movie has several different endings, and on the DVD you can choose to pick a random ending or see all three endings. I'll quickly tell you who the possibilities are here. So there's three endings to this movie. In all the endings, the other victims were connected to people. The cop was being paid off by Miss Scarlet. The motorist was Colonel Mustard's driver during the war. Yvette is who Miss White's husband was having an affair with. And the singing telegram is who Professor Plum was having an affair with. So in the first ending, Miss Scarlet did all of it so that she could take over blackmailing them and trying to sell government secrets. In the second one, Mrs. Peacock was the killer, and she killed everyone because they were informants for other people. They might have known her secrets too, so she was just trying to get out from under her blackmail. But in the real ending, it was everybody. They all killed whoever they were connected to, and Professor Plum ended up killing Mr. Body, who he thought was Mr. Body, but that was actually the butler, and Tim Curry was actually Mr. Body, who is killed by Mr. Green, who worked for the FBI and didn't do anything wrong, and you figure out he's not gay, and he says at the end, it was me in the hall with the revolver. Now I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife. And then the credits start. So there you go. That's Clue. It's a good movie. I've seen it a bunch of times. It's pretty physical humor most times. In a lot of situational stuff where people will be telling a story. Like, to make a long story short, too late. And that's a big joke. But, I like it. Seen it a bunch. Probably see it a bunch more. That's my review. Thank you for watching, and I'll try to do better next time, and I'll try to be shorter next time.